Welcome to another episode of Two Beers Podcast. And today we're going to be drinking a fresh hop Pilsner. So, yes, I know what you're thinking. You guys just had a fresh hop the last podcast, and it was February, and now it's March.
And you're catching on.
Yeah.
Our plan is to take the 3 weeks to month and a half that is fresh hop season and spread those beers out across the entire year. So in effect, it's always fresh hop season for us.
Always fresh hop season, buddy. And guess what? So far, we're doing pretty good at it. I mean, shit.
It sounds like a nice thing, like, oh, fresh hops year round. It sounds nice.
Yeah, until you're drinking old beer that isn't as good as it used to be.
And some of them, you probably wouldn't have liked it, whether it was hot off the press or not.
Yeah. And then here you are drinking it stale.
Yeah.
More or less. And,
So today, before we get into it, if you like our content, all that good stuff, this is the podcast. We also have another video series called Pints. And if you're interested in beer, Pints is more like local experiences, beer focused usually. Beer, food, all that good stuff. And then the podcast, we kind of just talk about whatever. But if you want to do the YouTube stuff or check out the other series, cool. If not, don't care. Live your life.
Sure. Or don't. No, just kidding. Do.
But yeah, this is Occidental Brewing Fresh Hop Pilsner. We've had a couple of these. They're based out of Portland, Oregon. And just going into it, we don't do this, but just going into it, just like, what are you thinking, like, as far as how this beer is going to be?
Haller Tower Mittelfrüh. I'm getting German vibes, so...
Yeah, I looked at the other beers that they make.
Yeah.
And their website, first of all, sucks ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2022. We don't have a website, but like if we did, it would look better than that.
I'm sure it would.
Like Squarespace is a thing,
Yeah, like all of their templates look pretty great.
Yeah. They make 4 different beers. They make a Pilsner, a Hef, and I can't even remember other ones, but they're all like German style, that kind of brewing.
Makes
too
sense.
good for American beer, I guess.
So hopefully they're good at it then, and it's pretty good. Before you potentially ruin your life, though, I mean, by all means, full on commit, but maybe pour a bit in the glass, and then you can get an idea of the color, and you can get them stats. But maybe it's better in the can.
No.
Okay, so fair enough.
I have a... you never told me what you were thinking about this, by the way.
Like going into it?
Just going into it, where you're at.
Well, I don't love their logo, I guess you could call it. It first off just does not go with the rest of the can design, so it looks kind of funky in my opinion.
It's a little Christmassy.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it is. Like,
I think it's the green and the red. It's just a little too bold. I like the hops though. The hops look good.
Yeah. The drawing of the hops is nice. I like the slight serif on the rest of the font, but it's just, I don't know, their logos just throwing me off. It's like...
Their logo looks like a baseball team.
I was just thinking that too. It's like a baseball team that's just like plastered randomly on a beer can. Like you would go and get this at a Cardinals game or something. I don't know. Just weird.
Like they could be the Occidental Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually might be.
That might be what their Cardinals are from. I don't know.
Pretty convinced they are, to be honest, at this point.
So other than the can,
I don't know. I think I just got like low tier vibes from it personally. Okay. And the can led me onto that right away. I don't typically appreciate German style beers. So
yeah, I think my issue is that I don't think you're going to get a whole lot from a Pilsner being freshly hopped.
Yes,
because it's not super focused on the hops.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago.
And then plus fresh hops, so unless you're really hopping it, you're not going to get a ton of flavor anyway. So it's like those things in conjunction. I feel like this is going to be a very mellow beer, accenting things that I don't really care about the accents of, and I think it'll be like, it's fine.
Yeah. So we brought some chasers along.
We did. This is Freeland Spirits Bourbon. Freeland Spirits is also based out of Portland, Oregon. It's a women-ran distillery. They make a bourbon. They make, and I think they make a bourbon and a couple different types of gin. I've never been there myself, so they could make more of that. That's just what I'm familiar with, and I think that's what they make. That I'm familiar with. I think
some good vagina bourbon right there.
This is like my go-to bourbon right now.
Yeah. I've had it a couple times from you, and yeah, it's fantastic. Super fucking smooth for a bourbon.
Super smooth but super dry.
Right.
Like it sucks the moisture out of your body.
Which is a good combination because it's just smooth and then it's like almost too sweet then and then.
Yeah, this is like very much, if you're more of like a bourbon drinker that likes those caramel vanilla notes, this probably isn't for you. Like it is smooth and definitely has those flavors, but it's not sweet.
Right. No, definitely not. Personally, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fantastic. And I will say, too, now having done both, before even comment on the beer itself, pretty good combination.
Nice.
Yeah, so solid choice on your part there. What do you think of the beer?
I haven't had it yet.
Okay.
I do my standard pour heavy. I think I'm always like, for a second when I pour heavy, I'm always like, oh, I wonder if someone's going to judge me for how I pour my beer. And then I think, I don't care.
Yeah, no, right. Like they are, but who cares?
They are, but I don't care.
Right. I agree.
Especially because I think, like, this is what I was going to get into earlier. I think from cans, most of the time I enjoy pouring it into a glass, but there is a good amount of time that I enjoy drinking out of a bottle.
I get that.
And then with cans especially, I feel like if you don't pour heavy, your beer can be overcarbonated and you end up burping too much, which it can be enjoyable and it might not be enjoyable.
Yeah, I've had some really nasty aftertaste and burps from some beers.
Yeah, so I tend to pour heavy out of cans for that reason. But
yeah, I get that. I also think with these types of beers, I think it's nice too, because like a nice super hopped up IPA, I'm like pouring light AF because I'm like, give me all the carb, I want it.
Well, it also depends on the actual brewery, right? Like brewery style beer, all the things, because like a Georgetown Bodie is like very carbed, and you're probably not going to lose so much to where it's like noticeable if you pour a little heavy.
That's true.
Or someone might even be inclined to pour heavy because it's so carbonated.
That's true. I've had some beers that are like super carb heavy and it's like off-putting, but Georgetown, it just like, I mean, we talk about it all the time where it just complements their beers so well.
Yeah, I like to that point, if they made like a super tropical hazy, the carb would be nice.
Yeah.
Because you'd kind of cut through that, and if you poured heavy, you'd be drinking syrup.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
So,
yeah. I was happy their, I think 9-pound porter randomly that we had, or at least I got, I can't remember where we were, but I was confused because I was thinking it was like their Bob's Porter or whatever one that they had put out like a year ago. I'm just thinking it's that one. And then come to find out that they instead actually made a new one, and it is way better, in my opinion. So.
I'm going to do the smells because you're going to have a hard time with that.
It smells great out of the can. I'll tell you that.
I said it's very floral.
Yeah.
It's like fresh cut grass.
Ooh, yeah.
Get a lot of those notes. Surprisingly, it's quite contrasting to the taste for me.
Do you get bubblegum?
In the smell?
Yeah. Getting a little bubblegum.
No.
Is it just aluminum and floral mixing together?
Well, in the florals, it is quite sweet. So I can see how, especially with aluminum, how you get to bubblegum. Yeah.
Okay.
But as I was saying, the taste, I think, is quite contrasting. The first thing that pops in my head tasting it is it's like kind of a like toasty Pilsner.
Yeah.
Like what's a bread that has like some seeds and like a little spicy,
Rye.
like a rye bread, but like not.
I knew you were gonna be like, yeah,
but not like the bread part, like the crust. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's got like little spices in there, a little toasted.
I mean, I think it's just like whole grain.
Oh, maybe like an everything bagel.
Oh yeah.
Type spice.
Yum. I want a bagel now. Everything bagels are fucking fire.
This would go with a bagel.
Would love a bagel with this. Yeah. Do you like cream cheese?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan.
Oh, dude, man. We're never going to go there, but we really should in Illinois. I think I've told you about this place, the bagel shop that
probably
my friend's family owns. And so they make all their bagels from scratch. They make all their cream cheese from scratch. And the best fucking cream cheese.
Spicy cream cheese?
They do have a spicy cream cheese. They have kind of two. They have a salsa one, which is a little less spicy. Then they got like a jalapeno one. And that one's fantastic.
I would like a habanero cream cheese and some smoked salmon.
Gross.
I know you can't get down on that, but smoked salmon and cream cheese is just so good.
What was that at Boom Boom? Going on a lot of tangents here. Boom Boom Room. Was it the tuna that I had a bite of? The little cube?
The raw tuna? Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I wasn't mad about that. That was pretty good.
That's what I always tell you. Raw tuna tastes like...
It's a nice texture too,
like
actually.
Good raw tuna. It's very similar to like beef tartare.
Mm-hmm.
Like raw beef. Very like... kind of similar consistency. It's obviously a little more fishy, but like good tuna that's like made for like sushi grade tuna.
Yeah.
Totally different fishiness than like tuna out of a can.
Right.
They're two separate things.
Yeah, no, even just smelling, I've never had tuna out of a can. I've only smelt it and I'm like, I'm good.
But that's what I mean. Like so if you have not had like raw tuna and like good tuna and your experience is like canned tuna, especially with you who doesn't like fish and someone's like, oh, you might really like tuna. You'd be like, no, I won't.
I can tell you
I won't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, just wait.
I get it.
Yeah, like I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't even know if I can draw much of a comparison. I mean, that's like ordering a steak at Chili's and someone's like, I don't really like steak. I'm like,
that's how Elizabeth was with like steaks and burgers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
And then I made her a good steak and she was like, oh, this is actually good.
Oh, this is great.
Crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That is crazy. I've always enjoyed steak, but I didn't know how much I could enjoy steak.
Yeah.
Because
there are grades to this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I've always liked it. And my dad would make pretty decent steaks growing up. But I think as a kid, I was afraid of it being raw, rare even. And so even growing up, as I would eat more steak, he would still cook them a little bit more.
I think everyone does that. Like it's a weird thing because when you're a young kid, you tend to like eat, like young. My nephew was this way for a while. Really liked sausage and steak and like, you know, medium burgers and probably like raw steak and everything. But like as soon as you're like start to understand that like, oh, raw things are bad and like you learn some things and then your like taste buds are maturing from, and maybe maturing is the wrong word, they're being change from like
No, that's fair.
your standard American diet. You don't like those things anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, too, as a kid, like your taste buds are so sensitive. Like, it's kind of a joke, that kids are super picky about their food, but at the same time, like, there's some science behind that. Like, they are just more sensitive foods, and like as you get older, your taste buds really do get like worse and worse.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think kids are,
and you could definitely get in your own head too. Like even adults do that.
I think kids are less picky the younger they are, and they're actually like, I think it's very similar to,
I agree with you.
Probably like when you talk about, when you look at like studies of the Inuits and their diets and stuff, because they were like primarily carnivores, they would talk about, their dogs and stuff. They would really prize like liver and heart and stuff because it's the most nutritious. And I think probably children, their taste buds are like, obviously they're growing quickly and stuff, so their taste buds are probably optimized for highly nutritious dense foods.
Yeah.
And then like from time and society, that gets warped.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, and like again too, like I think you just get in your head and you have all these like random things as you're growing up that affect your judgment and your interests in food that you don't even realize too, right? Like how many times as an adult you've been like, I hated this growing up, but like thinking back, like I don't even know when I tried it, and then you try it, you're like, no, this is great.
My first time carving a heart to eat it, like a cow heart to eat it.
Yeah.
Very like surreal thing. Like I got like a literal whole heart.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
And had to like unfold it and chop up all the like the ventricles and stuff that you can't really eat and everything. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
But why is it weird? Like I eat steak all the time, right? Like logically, you're like, this shouldn't be weird at all. Like I can cut my own steaks and like, no problem. But this heart, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you just do it, and then it's like, now it's more normal.
Well, I mean, any part of an animal, right? Like I feel like like no part of an animal should really weird you out that much.
If you're eating animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then,
yeah. Like, hello, this is like just muscles like cut off of an animal that is then heated up and you're eating it. So like, how's it any different than like,
not to say that
liver?
You should like everything the same, but it shouldn't be weird.
Yeah. Yeah. You get the weird tinglies. You're like, oh, there's kind of something odd about this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, kids, man, it's weird. I remember I went to this weird, was it me? I think it was me. I went to this weird ass fucking phase where I didn't like pizza. I was like a really like little kid, like not like super, not like baby or super little, but it was like a weird like toddler phase where I like didn't want pizza. I'm like, how the fuck? Why? Who am I? Doesn't like pizza.
Who am I?
Honestly. I imagine it was like my mom bought like a super shitty frozen pizza one time and I didn't like it. So I was like, well, guess I don't like pizza.
I hate and have always hated veggie pizzas.
Yeah.
Like Supremes?
Yeah, no.
What? Why?
And then even if you pick things off, it all tastes like green pepper and olives.
Yeah, it doesn't even taste like pizza.
Yeah.
It tastes like the fucking whatever veggies they put on top.
Yeah, it's weird.
Also, those people and pineapple people are the worst because they do this thing.
Well, they ruin pizza for everybody.
They do this thing where they feel like they are the cool kids, but then they also have to like get other cool kids to validate their opinion. So like if you're ordering pizza for like 50 people, you're ordering like, say you're ordering 10 pizzas. They like get together and soon you're ordering 2 Supremes, 2 pineapples, 4 pepperonis, and 2 cheeses. And then like the pepperonis and cheeses are gone instantly. And there's like 1 piece of a pineapple gone and like 2 pieces of the Supreme gone. And you're like, You guys made this whole thing about making it such a big deal, and you ate all my fucking pepperoni, you assholes.
When you're the fucker who's like, we gotta have Hawaiian, don't you dare fucking take a slice of pepperoni until that fucking shit's gone.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah, until your pineapple pizza's gone, you cannot have a pep.
Because apparently you're willing to go out and try other ones. I'm not willing.
Yeah. You have low standards. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah.
Just is what it is. Ugh. Tell you.
I hate those people.
Just the worst. Man, and those are the people where it's like it's not just pizza. Like that shines through in other areas of their life, and I mean other foods as well. I'm sure, but I'm sure they got other things in their life where they're like, I will not waver on this. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Just I don't know.
Yeah, I
have no examples. It's all anecdotal. And by anecdotal, I mean it's all hypothetical.
Oh, I have an example.
Okay.
Someone got mad at me.
That's weird.
The Washington Senate Democrats, our government in Washington is currently discussing a magazine capacity limit.
Yes.
For firearms, and they want to limit magazines to 10 rounds because they're fucking idiots.
Because arbitrary reasons, okay? You don't need to know why.
I say fucking idiots, not because I'm taking a side on the issue. I will take a side on the issue. My side is very clear. Own whatever you fucking want. It's your life. But they're fucking idiots because 10 rounds, it means nothing.
Where'd you get that number from?
They've changed the number because I think they went up from 5 because a lot of handguns have more than 5, and that was their justification for 10. And then they're like, but that studies will still show that it'll reduce gun violence. But that's not even very clear.
No.
In most handguns, like a standard Glock that people carry is like it's like 17 or 19 rounds plus 1. Like it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But someone's like, oh, and then they also posted about their something about banning open carry of firearms and other weapons at local government, school board meetings, and prohibit weapons at election offices and vote centers.
Aren't even just having firearms at some of those places isn't just having one already illegal?
Not in Washington. Some of those places, yes.
Okay, yeah.
But in Washington, like you can have open carry at local government buildings and stuff. I think that's now illegal technically after like the BLM stuff, which is ironic because like a lot of the BLM protests had open carry at, which I mean, I guess that's
probably why. Yeah.
Especially in Olympia, there was a lot of there were actually people who got shot in Olympia on government property. I'm pretty sure it's on government, or at least close.
That'll do it.
And I said, and they said that people in Washington deserve public meeting spaces that are free of fear or intimidation.
I don't like how that's
and I responded, government should feel intimidated. And then someone said, should teachers, school board members, students, and community members at school board meetings, blah, 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 feel intimidated? And I said, yes, until public schooling is dissolved and teachers' unions stop holding kids hostage over BS like COVID concerns. Skip down a couple conversation. I said, I mean,
like first off, just yes.
This person's a teacher, by the way.
You should be intimidated on committing an act of violence against me. I want you to be intimidated about doing that.
She said, you deserve no say, or I said to her, you deserve no say or influence over another child's life and education simply because the government maintains an effective monopoly on education through their monopoly on force. And she said, I absolutely do deserve it. I have earned it.
Oh.
She absolutely deserves, and she has earned to have say and influence over another child's life and education.
Good stuff
because
here.
Her counterpoint of me saying you don't deserve a say or influence over another child's life because the government holds monopoly on education. She's like, no, I do deserve it, and I earned it.
Earned it.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about?
Where do you get off?
No, parents can allow their kids to be taught by you. Yeah. I'm not saying that they can or can't or should or well, I might say that they shouldn't based off this person's responses, but like that's a voluntary thing. Like they're sending their kids to, well, it's not completely voluntary until public school is dissolved, but kind of somewhat voluntary. Like,
well, and even
the act of you having your kids educated by someone else should be voluntary. No one deserves to educate someone else's kids. That's preposterous.
that's insane thought. Yeah, like,
and the fact that the teacher thinks that.
Oh yeah, and yeah, this is an actual teacher in our fucking school systems, and she's like dead serious on it.
Yeah, high school teacher
earned it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You went to school for 4 years and you teach high school.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't see how you earned anything.
I don't really get it.
I went to college. People there are fucking dumb.
Yeah, they don't earn a lot, actually. That's fucking crazy. And teaching, like, you just got to know the shit up to your level. And let me tell you, I've been through high school. It's not that hard.
You know, School of Rock is funny.
Go on.
Because it's kind of true.
Yeah, it is.
All comedy is based on truth. Might be a slightly exaggerated.
You know what? It's really funny you bring that up.
It's kind of true.
What's really funny that you bring that up is I was watching. Have you seen one of those? I think it's GQ, like randomly, who does those, like they pull people in and they're like, oh, let them break down their most popular characters they've done in movies and shit.
I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen them because I hate those kind of videos.
Sure. I've watched like a few, and so the one of them that I watched was Jack Black, and I was like, because I'm like, oh, okay, Jack Black, I'll watch this one. And so they got to School of Rock, and he was talking about how great the original script was, and he's like instantly like, yes, gotta fucking do this. This is like a banger idea. And on top of that, it was like a lot more ridiculous upon first draft. And the guy, I can't remember the guy's name who they ended up hiring to direct it, but he said that dude the entire time kept trying to like rein everybody in and make it more realistic, because he's like, yes, it's gonna be funny, but like part of why it's so funny is because it's like rooted in a little bit of believability. Like this could actually happen. So it's funny you said that about the movie, because that's literally what the director was going for. So, and yeah, honestly, growing up in a small town in fucking Yorkville, Illinois, could happen.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, could I, go into school as a substitute teacher, and how long could I get away with it? I think I probably could for like a while.
I think the only thing that would be necessary I don't know if I'd say pokes a hole in the movie, but it kind of does, is just you need a fake ID.
No, I know, but
outside of that,
especially in 2022, because it's like now you're doing like,
now is
that he even
totally
had
different now.
Stuff payment wise, like there's a lot of complicated things.
Well, there's a lot of different stuff now. But back in that time, early 2000s, like what was that, 2005 maybe that came out?
I don't know,
something around there. So like if you're thinking like 2000, 2002, like that time, like dude, that is the internet is a thing, but it's not like ginormous. Yeah. So like they are calling people on their list, and if you just are the one who answers, it says, yeah, I'll be there. Like, I mean, I'm sure you show up and they check your ID, and then that's that. So pretty believable.
This chick also said her high schoolers could even dismantle my logic, and I was like,
oh,
it's like, okay,
of course they can. They're being taught by you.
Yeah, true. But I was like, I didn't say this, but I was thinking, what are the odds that she would do an Oxford-style debate with me in front of her high school class? Zero.
Well, but that'd be, of course not, because...
But it would be awesome.
She's not smart enough to win.
No, but it would be awesome.
It would be awesome. It's amazing, and that just proves herself wrong that she wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You tell her, be like, hey, I'll go through a background check. I went to Bible school, for God's sake. I mean, come on. I'm a stand-up guy.
My logic can be broken down so effectively that you can turn your students away from right-wing anarchism and can turn them into good little socialist kids. So what's the loss for you
True.
if my ideas are so simply deconstructed?
Yeah. You can just raise up more sheep. Adder right now. Adder. I would pay money to go see that.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But like it wouldn't even be entertaining.
It would for a bit.
It would be a lot like the State of the Union.
Yeah. Yikes.
Because I think my favorite thing was you were like, he's going to have to admit like that it's just been a shit show. And I was like,
at some point he's got to admit like an inkling of that.
And I was like, why? And then turns out he didn't admit anything.
I don't think he even brought up Afghanistan. I don't even think it was mentioned.
Not mentioned.
How hilarious. You're one of your hugest fucking fuck ups. I don't remember hearing about any drone strikes in that speech either.
Economy's doing great. His 17 economic advisors tell him that inflation's going to go down over time because of his plan. I don't even think he said build back better. Now, to be fair, that would be really hard.
I'll be honest,
for Joe Biden
he
to say.
did use the word better often, and I did hear the phrase like build better. We did not say build back better.
But that's his whole plan, right?
Yes.
Is build back better.
Yeah.
And he just kept referring it to my plan.
That's true.
That no one likes. Not even Democrats have voted favorably for it. Yeah. Fuck.
I love I love how gas prices aren't going to go down they're not going to go up because he's bought a shit ton of oil. Yeah. Mind you, the fucking native gas station right by work has gone up about $1 in the last couple months, starting today. So,
to be fair, the U.S. government is totally fine with sanctions on all of the Russian people because of the war stuff. And let's be clear what sanctions are. Sanctions block economics, trade happening from country to country, which really affects the fucking poor, innocent people in Russia from selling their goods to the U.S. or buying cheap goods from the U.S. Nothing's cheap from us, but like higher quality of living things from the U.S.
Yeah.
Because the rich people in Russia, they can get around with sanctions. Just look at all the rich people in the U.S. There's no laws that exist. Like, talk about firearms. If you're rich enough, you can get anything, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. It affects the fucking poor people. It doesn't affect the Russian government, the oligarchs, the fucking rich people. No, it affects the fucking poor, innocent people in Russia.
I was just gonna say people who are against all of this violence.
Some might be for it.
Sure.
Some are probably against it.
That's fair.
I can't.
That's a big assumption. You're right.
But yeah, but Russia's oil, we haven't put any sanctions on because we need that.
Interesting.
So,
but we're not gonna let anyone fly there. Am I right? Anybody clap?
Yeah, it's
God.
What a fucking shit show.
Isn't that crazy how in like December you were all like, just watch. Here comes springtime, start getting close to midterms. All this COVID stuff's just gonna magically be better.
Yeah, I was like,
turns out
case rates and death rates aren't gonna change. They've kind of leveled off. It's just gonna be very much the same for a long time.
And that's what is exactly happening.
Then all of a sudden they're like, end of March, at least in Washington, they're like, end of March, we're ending all the mask restrictions. And then CSC comes out and they're like, actually, yeah, we can just end them now. Because someone is either Kamala or Biden or someone in the administration got asked because there was a policy change somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, but the CDC hasn't changed it, because they're like just pointing out the hypocrisy. And then like a week later, the CDC is like, no, masks, they don't really work. Oh, that's what it was. Like Leanna Wen and all the fucking corporate media people are like questioning the effectiveness of cloth masks over N95. And someone's like, the CSE hasn't came out though.
Yeah.
CDC hasn't came out though. And then so now the CDC came out, and then Washington was like, yeah, March 23rd or whatever it was, 27th. They're like, you know what? With the CDC coming out, we'll move it back 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How does March 13th sound? You're like, why? Why not just fucking end it?
Just now. Yeah, what's his arbitrary date for?
Yeah, it's done.
That's all that's happened throughout this whole thing is these arbitrary dates. Like what is the finish line we'll be crossing on this date?
And what do you mean hospitalization deaths have been going down? Tell me the fucking numbers, bitch.
Yeah.
Because I know they aren't, like, the reason why they won't say the numbers is because the numbers aren't lower than what it was last year when they reinstated public masking and everything. So they can't say the fucking target. It's just polling.
I just don't think the numbers are accurate anyways. So
alcoholism has went up. Drug abuse has gone up. Drug deaths have gone up. Childhood obesity has gone up.
Suicide in general.
Domestic abuse. So many things went up because of lockdowns, masks, etc. None of that matters when it comes to lifting restrictions, but polling.
Yeah.
Their ability to gain re-election. That.
Oh, and then this motherfucker has the audacity to like publicly say in front of the entire fucking country that we're going to be attacking the pandemic frauders. And I'm like, do you mean all of you fuckers who put like thousands of Americans on their ass on the fucking street because you forcefully closed their businesses? You talking about yourselves, or what are you talking about here? Just a little confused. I don't understand.
Oh, I do understand.
I mean,
I don't understand how I don't understand the average American that like fucking bitched at me for disregarding things like masks and lockdowns and vaccines, and I haven't gotten one apology.
Well, and those same people are just okay with all this shit ending now.
Oh,
arbitrarily.
Come March 13th, they're gonna take their masks off, and like anyone that you know who has worn their mask this entire time, you've seen them around the office, you should ask them after March 13th, why is your mask off?
Oh, why'd you take your mask off? Oh, well,
But hospitalization and deaths aren't down.
I thought it was the science that mattered.
Don't you think that the people who don't wear masks and could get COVID, couldn't they cause variants? Couldn't you be causing a variant? You should probably put your mask back on.
True. Yeah. If you care about people.
If you care about other people.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I'm not saying protect yourself. I'm saying protect the people around you.
Protect the people, man.
Don't you care? What if it saves one
life? It just saved one life.
Just one life.
It's worth it.
I mean, what's wearing a mask anyways? Just a little, it's just a piece of cloth.
Just a little inconvenience. Gosh, it's not a big deal. Some people wear it all day, you know. They have to for their job.
Yeah.
And it's the company's choice that makes them do that. It's certainly not the government. No.
Good times. I will say, get back on topic.
Sure.
My beer's running out.
Yeah, mine's almost gone. Mine's lower than that.
Surprisingly drinkable beer.
Yeah, more than I had originally thought. That's for sure.
I am pleasantly surprised.
And again, with the whiskey?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. Plus the whiskey, this is a really nice pairing.
Good combo. Fantastic. Honestly, glad I didn't grab glad the Rittenhouse wasn't upstairs because I would have grabbed that.
I was going to say that I think the Rittenhouse would pair well with this.
You think so?
I think a more spicy whiskey that ends very clean, kind of crisp. This ends more dry than it does crisp, but I think anything that has a sharper edge to it than like a caramely sweetness is going to pair really nice with this because they're both like very aromatic experiences. I think at least my beer is. I don't know if yours is because you don't have open glass, but I do get toasty flavors with a floral nose, and then like washing that down with like kind of a spicier biting whiskey. And Rittenhouse, I think, falls into that.
So I think what we're rocking right now, they follow suit a little more, and so they complement each other very nicely. The Rittenhouse, it would almost be like a good pair because they contrast each other. I think the Rittenhouse is quite different from this. Although they have like those similarities, I think this is much more similar to the beer than...
Comparing it to the bourbon, Rittenhouse is a lot more bright.
Right.
And probably more spicy, whereas this is probably more like oaky, maybe.
Yeah, because that's spicy and it's got bite. This is more oaky and it's more smooth.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't...
And I think it's a really smooth beer, too. Like, I don't think there's a lot of, like, bite or nasaliness to the beer.
I think I more mean... That's why I'm not saying nasally, I'm saying aromatic. I think there's, like, a lot of flavors that you get up here.
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive to where I taste things.
Sure.
I think, comparing Rittenhouse to this.
Okay.
I think the flavor profile is relatively similar in the... Maybe the taste evolution is very similar. So contrast it to maybe a bullet bourbon that has a longer...
Yeah.
It stays longer in your palate. It's very much more vanilla.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that is probably closer to this, but I think this is closer to Rittenhouse.
I see what you mean.
At least I think it also depends a lot on how you like what your primary experience of whiskey is. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think it doesn't even matter what they are or how similar they are. I think we just got to do a podcast on just tasting a bunch of whiskeys.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of, just lay them on. Is this? Oh, these are kind of similar. I didn't realize that.
That'll be our
these
buffer.
Are different.
That'll be our buffer if we ever don't have a fresh up.
Oh, God forbid that happens.
All right. Just to kind of break down the beer real quick, add or detract anything that you would like.
Yes.
I've written it all down. Look, yellow, bright, semi-haze.
Totally.
Yeah. You're like green.
Very
kind of
green,
aluminum.
a little bit of red going on.
Smell, floral, fresh cut grass.
Yeah.
Taste, I put toasty, everything bagel. I think there's probably more to add to that, but I'm not like a Pilsner connoisseur, so. Like I think where I get kind of caught up in my brain is where I think German beers focus more on the particulars of malt tastes.
Yeah.
And Americans focus a lot on hops. So like I'm very familiar with hop varietals. I can pick out those flavors, but the malt flavors, I'm like,
well, and they're a bit yeasty too. Where like most American beers, it's like the goal is to not taste the yeast. I feel like. So I would say honestly, the grassiness kind of translates to the flavor as well.
Grassy, okay.
Yeah, and
not vegetal, grassy. Or are they one and the same to you?
No, thank you, vegetal.
Okay.
The final answer, vegetal.
Or earthy.
No, definitely not earthy. Don't.
Vegeta.
Yeah, definitely Vegeta. And then I don't know how else to describe this other than like just tagging it as typical German yeast. Like I don't it's not as bad as a lot of like Belgian style beers or German style beers where it's just like, whoa, that is like a sour boy. Like this is basically fucking kombucha. But like it does have those properties. Like it's not like you drinking this, you're like, oh, I'm drinking a fresh hop high life. You know, you're not like mistaking it for anything like that. Like
Trying to figure out what vegetables I taste. And I went in my brain, think about Brussels sprouts. And I do taste it at the very end. Taste a little bit of Brussels sprouts. But I mostly experience carrots.
I wouldn't say mostly carrots personally. I get carrots. I think there's some, I want to say kale, but I feel like it's more broccoli.
I don't get a lot of broccoli because I taste
green in there.
I taste broccoli on the back of my tongue primarily.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of back of the tongue flavors personally.
No, not a lot. And that's what I'm saying. And I think the yeastiness kind of adds to that in most other beers, whereas this one, it's not super strong. So this one's like not like that weird bitter sourness that you get from a lot of those beers. This one's more pleasant, in my opinion.
And then I taste Brussels sprouts at the very tip of my tongue. I don't know why I do.
On the back of your lung.
And that's where I get it at the very end.
I'll give you, I mean, Brussels and carrots, that's good.
Feel, I said surprisingly medium body.
Yeah, it's nice.
I thought it was going to be a lot lighter.
Yeah, and then on the opposite hand, it's not like a thick fucking malty boy.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
My one critique,
sure,
is that, and I could be wrong because I don't have the other one in front of me. I've never had the other one, but I said the fresh hop doesn't bring a whole lot.
Oh yeah, I think it just goes back to what we keep saying about these styles of beers. Like, it's just kind of unnecessary. I would love to shoot out some of these like fresh hop pilsners or I don't know, like a fresh hop fucking amber or something weird like that. Like I would be very curious to try the normal version side by side because I'm with you. I'm not seeing it add much.
Yeah, could be wrong.
And if it is, I certainly don't want that other beer. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't see it giving much to them, so.
No, I don't either.
Have you decided what you want to rate it?
Yes.
Because I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I think there's a section that makes sense.
Yeah, but your section's wrong.
You're right. You could argue it for a lower section, but I would ask you to reconsider.
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3.4. Wow, that's crazy.
See, I knew you were going to say 3.4.
Of course I'm going to. 4? Get the fuck out of here.
I knew you were going to say
4.1?
4.1.
You went hard into that A category.
I knew you were going to say 3.4, and I was like, you're wrong.
No.
I knew you were going to say good. You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong.
I don't think so.
You're wrong.
Hear me out.
I'm right.
It's because it's a fresh hop. Doesn't sit well there. Like, I think that's something to pay more attention to personally.
Can you write your rating?
I can do that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Contribute.
I'm getting there.
This is just to contribute.
I wrote 3.4 somewhere on this sheet.
It's hard to write it.
And it's not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you did. It's right above the hops, malts, and yeast.
I'm gonna leave it. I like it. It's nice.
3.4. 1, 2, 5, 9.
There's a lot of personal tweaks for my personal bias that I'm making this beer.
Yeah, he would make it an IPA.
Yeah, but objectively, like, it's a pretty good beer. Like, I would drink another one of these.
That's what I'm saying. Be objective. It's a Pilsner.
I get it, but I think the fact that it's a fresh hop...
Compare it to your other Pilsners you've had.
I've had some good Pilsners, dude.
Same.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But this is a pretty good one.
You could put me...
I'm not saying to change your answer.
I get that.
I'm saying to support your answer. Tell me what you don't like about this.
I'm saying I could be persuaded to be put in the high B category. I would not go into the A category. I think that...
Why?
I like where this beer sits with its body. I think, however, that it just sits there and it's a little boring. I think it needs to sway in a direction for me to like it a little more. If it was a little bit more crisp, I'd be like, oh, that's nice. If it was a little bit more sweet, I'd be like, okay, there's some complexities going on there. It's a little bit more interesting. But it's just a little boring.
Well, so that's where I disagree.
Sure.
I think the complexities are there.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're as broad as sweet or crisp. I think
Sure.
they're much more precise in the floral and the vegetal and the grassy tones. I think like that's where the dynamics are a lot more specific.
Yeah.
I think that's partly due to the beer style. Like,
yeah,
IPAs have a wide range, like a very wide range.
Yeah.
Stouts have a very wide range. I think Pilsners have a very like a much more narrow range
They
of
got
what
their
they
lane.
can. Yeah. So it's like in that range. I think for me, I think they do that lane well.
I've had a lot of good Pilsners, and the ones that I am partial to, they're a little bit more crisp. And I would be willing to admit that I don't know Pilsners well enough, and that if I had a little bit more knowledge on them, that maybe this would rank a little bit higher.
Craziest Pilsner I've had was can't remember who it was from. It was a nitro peach Pilsner.
Oh,
That was delicious.
sounds fucking gross. But I'm interested. I wonder. Let me preface what I'm even about to say. I understand that Pilsners are lagers and they ferment at a different temperature than ales. But aside from that, I wonder the differences between a golden ale and a Pilsner. Or even worse, a blonde ale and a Pilsner.
I hate blondes.
Blondes are fucking gross and they taste like a funky Pilsner. So is like a blonde like kind of like a Pilsner recipe?
Maybe it's the exact same, but
fermented at a different temp.
Yeah, maybe.
But golden ales, although they are like good beers compared to disgusting blondes, no, golden ales are good. They're like a very crisp, very hoppy Pilsner. I like it.
Meh.
Whatever. But anyways, I just wonder where they all sit ingredients wise.
Say like strong ales are even better.
What? No, you could never. You cannot. Fuck you. You're a fucking liar. No.
Nick's like, the darker you get in ales, the better. And he's like, a black ale, that's a man's beer.
Oh my god. Well, black IPAs, I've debatably not had a worse IPA. Debatably.
I think Dusty's has a black ale right now.
Black ale, black IPA.
Black ale.
From who, do you know?
Yes. It's somewhere in the depths of my mind.
Okay. Say.
It's locked away.
Ah, well, you should look for that key.
Hop
right
Mountain.
Oh, really? Did you just making that up?
No. No.
I don't even believe you when you said no.
It's Hop Mountain.
I don't believe you.
They have some kind of dark ale. And
but now it's a dark ale. Now it's not even a black ale.
I don't even...
You fuck, they're totally different.
I don't know if I'm saying total bullshit or
God
not.
damn it. Shit, because I was really excited to try that this weekend.
You don't mean tonight?
Yeah, kind of. I kind of do need tonight.
Oh,
Sun was out earlier.
we're pretty stoked to have not one, but two, count them, brews from Holy Mountain on tap. If you know Holy Mountain,
You had the H.
you know they always deliver, and they're so delicious and satisfying. Captured in all its glory, here is their black beer, a delicious dark ale, not a porter or a stout, even if it looks like one, with an easy drinking ABV of 4.5%. In addition, we have the Water in the Well IPA with tasty Citra, Simcoe, and Mosaic hops. Come try them both. Bring a friend. Sit back out of this drizzle and enjoy yourselves.
Black beer, dark ale.
Well, you see how I got them mixed up.
No, I'm not riffing on you. I'm like, hey, Dusty's, get your verbiage figured out. What the fuck is a black? Are you just saying the color of the beer is black? And
No,
that it is a dark ale?
I think the name. I think this one's
It's
on Holy
called-
Mountain, and I think it's called Black Beer.
All right.
I think that one's on Holy Mountain.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm less interested because I've had dark ales and they're not my favorite. I'm a little interested since it's called black beer.
yeah,
Like a play on words of black beard.
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Probably.
If it was like super nautically and piratey, I'd be down for it
Maybe.
then. I'd definitely drink it if it had a fucking pirate on it.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's one time I bought a rum because it came in like a leather sack and it just like looked like something a pirate would have.
Was it good?
It was pretty decent. Yeah, I was happy with it. I was about to say I'll never forget, but I forgot. There's a rum that I got my brother, and it's gonna kill me that I can't remember it because that was probably the best rum I've had in my life. And I kid you not, like I would just drink that shit neat like whiskey, and it was just absolutely delicious. Like a spicier bourbon. It was delicious. But alas, I'll never remember.
But Alice.
But Alice, speaking of which, about like 5 minutes ago, I looked over and saw that gun for the first time. I was like, "Oh shit! I haven't even looked at that fucker yet."
All right, should we wrap up?
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier, do the YouTube things if you'd like. Congratulations if you made it this far. Let us know your thoughts about the beer. If you get a chance, Freeland Spirits Distillery. They're not a brewery. I mean, they could be. Freeland Spirits. Check out their bourbon. We're not sponsored by any brewery or distillery or anything, but just like to share the things that we have and the things that we like. So
If you're into German style beers, or if you want to try German style beers, apparently Occidental in Portland's the place to go. So,
cheers.
later.